Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is in Mali in the first leg of his 5-day visit to the two Indian maritime neighbours, Maldives and Sri Lanka, where India-Maldives inked key agreements to strengthen ties between the two nations. The key highlight is that Indian top diplomat, along with the Maldives President Ibrahim Solih, inaugurated a police training academy and a drug rehabilitation centre built with Indian financial assistance in Adu. India and the Maldives also signed Memorandum of Understanding on capacity building and areas of cooperation between police academies of the two countries, which will help establish mutual cooperation in the sphere of training management.
It has showed that your policy of India first and our policy of neighborhood first, these are not just phrases, but these are actually the very fulcrum of our relationship. Today, our partnership envelops cooperation in almost every facet of our bilateral relationship. The focus of our engagements, of course, always remain the well-being of our peoples.
India is also assisting in building key infra in the region. Jaishankar confirmed work has commenced on Adu roads projects. India also plans to open a consulate in Adu, which is a strategically located atoll about 500 kilometers from the capital Male, and was a British air and naval base to interdict German U-boats in the Indian Ocean during World War II. Indian Foreign Minister reached Male yesterday and held key bilaterals with his Maldivian counterpart, Abdullah Shahid, after invitation was issued by the latter. The top Indian diplomat highlighted that the two nations' bilateral ties will help promote peace in the region, hinting on stronger maritime ties among the Southern Asian neighbours.
Let me, in conclusion, emphasize that our time-tested relationship is today poised for a real quantum jump. We can and we are touching the lives of people as we've never done before. We are partners in development, we are promoting peace and security, and our relationship today in many ways serves as a model for the region.
The two delegations signed key agreements, including the peering agreement for connectivity between the higher education network, paving the way for connectivity between India's National Knowledge Network and the Maldives' higher education network. Both nations also agreed upon recognition of COVID vaccination certificate, which will facilitate ease of travel. Both the ministers held wide-ranging discussions on the bilateral partnership with India and the Maldives, taking stock of ongoing projects and initiatives across various sectors, including socio-economic development, trade, investment and tourism. Both sides also held bilaterals on regional security and maritime safety. Jaishankar reiterated Indian commitment to tackle common challenges of regional development, calling upon the partnership to strengthen ties which would help bring stability to the region.
I think the threat of transnational crimes, terrorism and drug trafficking is indeed very serious. I'm very pleased to see that our capacity building and cooperation and training have expanded in this. I think it is for both of us, it strengthens our defense and security.
Meanwhile, former Maldivian president and leader of opposition Abdullah Yameen is trying to galvanize a political comeback by campaigning against Maldivian ties with India. Yameen wants to cancel defense deals signed with India, with whom Maldives shares decades of close and friendly ties. Well, and to talk more about this relationship that was strained in the past, we are pleased to be joined by Maldives Defense Minister Mariya Didi. Minister, thank you very much for making time and welcome to WION. Maldives and India have agreed to partner in tackling challenges in regional defense and security. How do you see this going forward?
It's a very positive arrangement that we have had. Recently, we've had this meeting in Maldives, the Colombo Security Conclave, as we call it, where India, Maldives, Sri Lanka, and now Mauritius, we joined together to tackle regional challenges.
Opposition leader and former President Abdullah Yameen has been holding protests against Indian aid to help develop infrastructure in the Maldives. How do you respond to this or to his allegations that India is trying to increase influence in the region? And what's behind the new anti-India campaign in the Maldives?
I think it is a political campaign. He's obviously very worried, that if under President Solih's government, we have achieved so much progress despite COVID. And India has been a key partner helping us. Even if you look at the pandemic, as soon as the vaccines were out under your Honorable Prime Minister's initiative, the Sagar initiative, they reached out to us and they gave us India gave us COVID vaccines. We were able to use them, and we have almost achieved 98% of vaccines and opened up our economy. And if you try to get a booking in one of the Maldivian resorts, most probably you wouldn't get one till maybe late summer. So it's like, the economy started moving. Even the World Bank has said, that after COVID, Maldives is one of the fastest growing economies. So in that sense, your aid to us, you helping out, reaching out, has put us on our own feet so soon. So it's a very symbiotic relationship where we help each other in all difficulties and make sure that, each of our neighbors are there to help out when in need.
So, Madam Minister, what are your views behind the India Out campaign?
President Yameen seems to be worried that if we achieve, development, if we are able to have progress in the islands, then he is not going to have the votes that he would like to. Normally what happens is in the islands, they go for basic needs. And when you are in that sort of dire situation, when the economy of an island is not moving, then it's very easy for people like Yameen to come in and get hold of votes. But we want to retain the island character of Maldives. So despite the challenges we are developing these islands, we don't see development as an economic objective. We see it as something that we do for the people. And I think he doesn't like it that we are doing this much for the people. And obviously his chances of getting elected are getting slimmer day by day.
Madam Minister, do you see the Indian-Maldivian partnership in Adu developing further?
I see the Indian-Maldivian partnership as thriving. It's good for us and it's good for y'all also because as your defense minister said in the defense conclave in Bangalore, he said a stronger Maldives is good for them and a stronger India is good for us as well. So in fact, he was very specific when he said, it's nowadays a defense partnership. So it's not only a defense partnership, wherever you look at, if the development, if you have very poor neighbors next to you, then obviously, all sorts of negative influence will come in. We are even with this Colombo conclave, we are fighting against narco trading, international organized crime. These sort of things have a way of coming, and even India wouldn't want, these sort of, things like we are trying to tackle together extremism. And very often, when you're in poverty, these sort of things come in and take over your lives and you get very influenced by this. This is something that research shows. So I think we're helping each other by trying to develop these communities. There's so many things signed, to educate the public, the police academy. Just now you mentioned some agreements with educational establishment as well. We've had the tourism training facility as well, the MITE, as we call it, the vocational training center built by Indian Aid. So there's been a lot of work together to even educate and to make people get more skills so that we can be more self-dependent, self-reliant, and do things on our own.
Madam Minister, we understand there are concerns about Indian presence at the UTF harbour, and your ministry has reiterated over time that there are no foreign military personnel on UTF. Can you confirm this and reassure Maldivians who still have their doubts?
I don't think there are any Maldivians who have any doubts. This is a small country. If there are people with arms, they will know it. And again, I shall reiterate, there are no armed people in the Maldives. You know, and not only Indians, there aren't any foreigners here who have any presence with arms in the country.
Finally, Madam Minister, Beijing's outreach in a part of the Indian Ocean where India was preeminent power has seen the geopolitical rivalry play out in the national politics of both Sri Lanka and Maldives, your country. How has China influenced the politics in your country, and what are you doing to suppress Beijing's aggression in the region?
What we would like to see is a stability in our region. We would like to work with like-minded people. We opted for democracy in 2008. We changed our constitution also to reflect these ideals. So what we see now is democracy flourishing in the Maldives, and what we wouldn't want to see is us in a state, you know, where we are indebted to any country in such a bad way that parts of our ports or whatever goes to people and we are unable to control it, and it will put us in a difficult situation. So we see China also as a development partner. We see India also as a development partner, but our close proximity to y'all and we share so much of ideals together, the democratic ideals, so much cultural things like Hindi films, Hindi dramas are so popular in the Maldives. So there's so much that we can do together. So I don't see, you know, us being swayed into anything else. Whenever we've needed any sort of help, India has been there, be it the tsunami, be it the 1988 incident, the November 3rd incident, and water crisis, and most recently in the pandemic has been as well. The Indians have always been there to help us.
Defense Minister of the Maldives, Mariya Didi, thank you very much for talking to us today. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.